What's up, guys? I want to make this video to talk about a segment of the Nolan Ryan Topps Master Set that's actually given me some trouble over the years. But the good thing is that I almost have 1991 done. Now, there are a few box cut panel variations that you need to get, and those are tough to find, so those will take me a while. But 1991 is primarily made up of four different variations for the number one and the number six record breaker. So you have the normal base card for those, the micro, the Desert Shield, and the Tiffany. Now, the one that I've never been able to find for some reason is the number six record breaker for the 91 Tiffany. And according to the Pop Report, there's supposed to be almost 20 PSA 10s out there, but to this day, I've never seen a PSA 10 for that card list, and I've been working on the Topps Master Set for years now. It's like 5 or 6 years at this point, and I have still never seen a 91 Tiffany number six record breaker in PSA 10 list. So I'm hoping that one will eventually, so I can finally complete all four of the main variations. But I want to show off the 7 of the 8 cards that I do have because all of these took me a while. So here is the number one for the normal base card release. Solid PSA 10. Good centering right there. And here is the number six record breaker for the base. And on all these variations, don't ask me why, but the record breaker has always been a lot harder to find than the number one card. And here is the PSA 10 for the micro for the number one. Now, the micro cards aren't overly pricey. I mean, you can usually get them for like 50 to 70 bucks these days, so they're not going to break the bank, but they're just really hard to find. The populations on them are low, especially in PSA 10. And this one was even tougher to find in PSA 10 for the number six record breaker micro. So let's get a closer look. There it is. Now, these next two, these were tough to get. These are the Desert Shield. So there's really nice PSA 10 for the number one. Now, the story behind this one is there's a guy on eBay. I think his eBay handle is the Desert Shield Collector. And he's a really wealthy guy, really successful. And over the years, he became obsessed with trying to get as many of the Desert Shield cards in PSA 10 as he could. And at one point, he was selling a ton on eBay, but he didn't have either of the Nolan Ryans listed. So I contacted him privately, and at the time, he did have the number one in PSA 10 for Desert Shield. So this one's just a really nice one. I got a decent deal on it. And at the time, he did not have the number six. And here it is right here. This one is really tough to get. But he actually owned this one as well. And the crazy thing is I didn't reach out to him in time to find out that he had this one. And he listed it on eBay. And he actually sold it in an auction to a really good friend of mine that is a really hardcore Nolan Ryan collector as well. And recently, he actually had to sell off a bunch of his cards because he needed cash. And he contacted me and he asked me if I wanted to buy anything directly from him. But I told him, you know what? List all your cards with PWCC through eBay. That way you get top dollar. And, you know, whatever I win, I win. And this was one that I really wanted. So it's actually funny that the Desert Shield Collector guy, this was his card. He sold it to a friend of mine. My friend then put it on eBay through PWCC, and I won the auction. But let me tell you, I had to pay handsomely for this card because there was somebody else that was competing with me for it, and this one wound up costing me $1,250, which is definitely the highest one of these has ever gone for. But like I said, the population is under 20, and it's a super tough card to get. So there's that. And last but not least, here is the 91 Tiffany for the number one. Really nice centering. And for those of you that don't know about the Tiffany cards, as you can see, the back pops a lot more. It just shines brighter because they were made in Ireland on higher grade cardstock. And this was one of the last main Tiffany cards that took me a while to get for Nolan Ryan. I currently have most of them in PSA 10. But I just got a really good deal on this actually. A guy was selling some Nolan Ryan Tiffany cards. I already had them, so I sent him a private message on eBay. And I asked him, I said, do you happen to have the 91 number one or number six Tiffany in PSA 10 for Nolan Ryan? And unfortunately, he didn't have the number six record breaker, but he did have the number one in PSA 10. And last time I checked, these are actually now going for like 450 to 500 bucks. And I got this one for like 210 bucks. So I saved a ton of money on it. So I was happy to get a good deal. But there you have it, guys. There are the 7 out of 8 of the main variations that I have. And hopefully, eventually, somebody lists a damn 91 record breaker for Tiffany in PSA 10 so I can complete it. But it just feels good to have most of it done because 1991 is one of the tougher years in the last 10 years of Nolan Ryan's career on the Topps Master set. So thanks for watching. Like the video and subscribe if you haven't already.